Hey y'all, it's blacknetizen again, your favorite fake deep K-pop fan, and today I don't, would this be a How You Like Me Now? I don't know, it's like How You Like Me Now extra, if you will, because I'm not actually talking about any current events, because I don't actually particularly care about any current events in K-pop because of the current events where I am right now. And I feel like a lot of other K-pop fans feel similarly, but it's something that's hard to articulate, so I will try my darndest to do that. And hopefully other K-pop fans can kind of get where we're coming from. So basically, too long didn't watch, no one cares that your fandom is benevolently not trying to trend anything right now, and also no one cares if your favorite idol does or does not say something, because your brownie points are not more important than human beings' lives and dignity and respect. All of those beautiful things. Video commence. And this isn't to say all K-pop fans like me feel this way. It's just, I think, a very significant segment. So yeah, there's a lot of hoopla going on, and it's the same stuff that has been going on since the founding of this country. So it's not like it's new. It's not like it's surprising, but it's still shocking. This is like the ultimate demonstration of shocked but not surprised, basically. And I don't know how or why, but this particular instance is very like, whoa, for me. I guess because the gentleman who's gotten the most press recently kind of looks like one of my uncles, so it's like very like, whoa, okay, that's a bit unnerving. But yeah SAR, it's a lot, and like we always say, K-pop is black. I don't, one of these corners you'll see the video where I discuss the implications of that statement. But yeah, so like we all understand, K-pop draws a lot from black, specifically black American culture. So it's times like these where that why do you listen to K-pop if you're black kind of comes to bite us a little bit. Not because we shouldn't listen to it because of who we are. It's just I guess the lack of reciprocity shines through a little bit, in that the companies that have established themselves off of pulling from this particular culture don't say anything. But then we've also grown as, like, at least on Twitter, the stan culture, the American side of the fandom, has grown to this point where people like to claim like woke points or deduct woke points. So it's like, it's this really weird conundrum, like you kind of would appreciate like words of encouragement or solidarity or whatever, but at the same time you're tired. Like, I know for me personally right now, I'm tired. I used to like really be out there and like really campaigning and blah blah blah. Like I used to be way more politically active. Like, even before I could vote, I was campaigning for like Obama. So yeah, I believed so much in the system, and so much of like, you know, if you just really work towards it and you really like do all of the stuff you're supposed to do, things will change. And I've obviously seen that that doesn't necessarily happen. So, or it doesn't happen the way that we think it should, or the way that we're told it should. So I've become very disgruntled, and I've grown the same way with the general cycle of our reaction for these themes. So when it now comes to, okay, you pull from this community but then you don't have anything to say, it's like I almost don't even really care what they have to say anymore, because what is that actually going to do, really? And then we have the stans who are like, oh my gosh, you know, this group or this person should say something because like they really believe in blah 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 blah. And you know, it's just sort of like, especially when the people who are saying that aren't particularly invested in these topics, it's just sort of like, I don't care. I'm not giving out any woke points, so literally I don't care. It doesn't matter even if they made like a whole speech. I don't care. Cause like, what is that actually going to do? What is it going to do? Nothing. But then, like I said, on the flip side, it would be kind of encouraging if people who have so many fans who do look like me would sort of acknowledge and like appreciate that this is a very trying time, and like, I don't care about the comeback anymore. Like, I don't care a whole lot about anything. Like, we're having to do all of this in the middle of a haphazardly handled pandemic. Like, and then, especially for the greater portion of your fans who look like me in the fandom, who are also women or girls, literally, if anything happened to me, no one would march. There wouldn't be a riot because there wouldn't be a march to begin with. No one would care. So it's like, it's so discouraging that to be so like just innately invested in such a recurring theme, like I said, for centuries. It's not anything particularly new. The theme that's new each time is generally, I mean, up until this point, I think it's generally been just the updated technology that makes the dissemination of the happenings quicker or more pungent. So if you think about it, the newspapers, and then from the newspapers, people kind of taking the press, being able to take the press into their own hands and make their own press and report on themes their own way in the 60s. And then with the advent of, you know, video recording or mobile video recording with camcorders and such, Rodney King and that whole era of that being a topic, and then now that we have smartphones and things of that nature, it's the, I guess, the evolution of the evidence of this ever-present phenomenon, not so much the newness of the phenomenon. So, but that doesn't make it any less shocking. If anything, it makes it more shocking because now you get this constant loop of this stuff that really messes with you. So yeah, it's really, it's numbing, but then it's also upsetting, but then it's also like, like I would appreciate, I guess, less so from the companies, but more so from the public figures that we admire, are so endeared to, put so much, like, I guess, money into. Not to say that we're buying their allegiance or anything, but it's just like, it'd be cool if they could say, hope you're having a good day, you know, it's a really messed up, not a messed up time, but like those cheer up messages, as opposed to like, who's ready for the next stage, or who, because like a lot of us aren't. So yeah. And then it's real, like I said, it's really infuriating to see all of this talk about, oh my gosh, who's woke, who actually cares, and oh my gosh, the fawning over people who like do make a tweet or do post anything. It's just kind of like, that's honestly the least you can do. Because like, even taking it outside of K-pop, like if you look at the crowds this year, this time around, especially in Minneapolis, it's not just people who look like me, and I appreciate that, and I doubly appreciate that, because I don't think that it should be so incumbent on us to go through the emotional duress of the situation, and then also like be so politically nimble to like handle it in the middle of all of these different things going on when we are disproportionately like affected by the pandemic. It's like, and we aren't the ones who hold the power in this situation. So I do think it's incumbent on people who do hold positions of power, however small, to be the most active in combating these sorts of themes. Yes, lift the voices and the perspectives of the people who are most affected, but the real footwork and the muscle and the elbow grease, in my opinion, should be coming from people who aren't as affected, because you aren't as affected. Like, it's, to me, that's just logical. And like I said, for people like me, we're ever present in these marches that eventually turn into riots for whichever reason. Cough, cough, Joe Exotic. Yeah. But it's never reciprocated because there was an EMT who, she wasn't doing anything, and oftentimes it's actually very strange. In most of the cases I've heard of women, they aren't doing anything, they're just in their house, and then someone barges in and lights the place up, and yeah, we don't march about that. We don't. And it's like, oh, well, that's nice to know. Yeah, and the way that case is progressing, we're happy because her boyfriend who was defending her's charges finally got dropped. Now, if there's going to be any sort of consequences for such a ridiculous violation of privacy, space, rights, humanity, dignity, all of that stuff, we don't know. We aren't particularly organizing for that. Or maybe we are organizing for that. But on the same scale with the same profile, absolutely not. And that's something that's happened again and again and again. And people say it's because it's not accompanied by video evidence, but like, okay, yeah. So it's like, it's just overall a very disheartening situation. So when you do have, I guess, idols who are like hitting you with all of this content and, you know, isolation, quarantine, so here's some videos, here's some V-Lives, here's some this, here's some that, and they're none the wiser to the fact that like a whole like subset of a population, or arguably a whole population, is going through like serious mental duress. Like, already we're not supposed to be going out that much, blah 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 blah, and people are. And now for people like me, you're super cautious about when you go out or where you go out to, even for essential things. And now you're supposed to be working on your physical fitness, but then you're not sure if you should be walking past your neighbors because you don't know what they're thinking. Yeah, like, you don't care. I don't care about the comeback. I don't care that you got a second win. Sorry, y'all, this is a hot doggy mess, but such is life. Yeah, one more thing. I'm not, okay, one thing I want to say, it is good to take breaks, it's good to take breathers, but it isn't encouraging to see people who aren't directly affected by these themes just reveling in not caring. Because it's one thing for me to not care, it's another thing to see someone who doesn't have to care just continue to revel in not caring and kind of getting those updates. It's something that I just kind of had enough of today, because it's like, you don't have to care, and I don't want you to make a performance of you caring, but at the same time, just small micro gestures would be nice, because it's like, I have to work so hard to laugh right now. I have to work so hard to not actively be thinking about this and ruminating on it and wondering how my family's doing as they're navigating public spaces. So it's just like, it'd be cool if people who don't have to go through that showed any sort of mini micro token of understanding and acknowledging that this is going on in the world. But yeah, I'm curious to know what you guys think. If you can, leave a comment down below. Try not to use any of the, I guess, catch-all terms, the headline terms, because I honestly don't want to deal with too much traffic or like hoopla on any of this. Or you can at me at blacknetizen on any social media except MySpace or AIM. Why don't I have any tissue? Like the video, be sure to share it and have these discussions with people you know in your real life, especially if you aren't like me. I think that's more than tweeting something. That could have, I would appreciate that a lot more, me personally. Because it's to the point where you're just really tired. I know I am. And I'll leave some, if you go to my social media, you'll find things that you can do. As far as like fundraisers, be sure to really research them. Even if I do retweet them, I'm not retweeting them because they're really good things to donate to. I'm retweeting them because they might be, so I would encourage you to still research them for yourselves, because I know for me personally, it takes a lot for me to like give my hard-earned money to anything, especially when so many things in the non-profit space are garbage. So yeah, do all of that, like the video, share it, consider becoming one of my favorite netizens and subscribing, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.